All right, so this is what we have here. The person that they're calling the Nashville shooter. By this time, everybody knows that she was someone who identified as transgender. Okay, and so the big issue is about her being transgender, and I think she's not actually the first person who identifies as either queer or whatever that actually does like really extreme murderous things. I think there's three or four, who knows, but probably more. But the issue here is that now the conservatives are targeting the transgender, and the transgenders, and the left wants to always say that it's white males that commit these evil things and all that. That it's the guns that it's the problem and whatever. Not to touch on the gun issue because actually there's a lot of there's a lot of conversation here regarding the guns, gun-free zones and schools in particular, whether we should have security and have armed security at school facilities and stuff like that. I'm absolutely for that. I think it's nonsensical in this time, in this day and age, with so much violence, especially targeted towards children. In this case, little kids were actually killed and adults were killed by this person. The idea is that needs to be centered, and after all the fluff and all the smoke, what we need to recognize is that the secularization of this nation and the lies that secularism dishes out to people and tells them. Just read. This is on the screen. You'll see that this person goes by the name of. She calls herself Aiden, and she sent a text to her supposed friend, and said, "So basically, that post I made on here about you, that was basically a suicide note. I'm planning to die today. This is not a joke," in high caps. "You'll probably hear about me on the news after I die. This is my last goodbye. I love you, heart emoji. See you again in another life." And then the supposed friend wrote back, "Audrey, you have so much more to live. I pray God keeps and cover you." Well, absolutely. God does have had much more life to live, but the person that was writing back to her called her by her real name, and the person calls themselves Aiden. So this was a person who had a lot of conflicts, a lot of problems. We don't know her ins and outs. We don't know her personal life. Well, she was going through whatever. We do know that she was she tagged on to this the cultural lies of what do you call it, trans lies that are going on. First of all, there's no such thing as a transgender. There's no that to call a person, can I say they identify themselves as something, but there's no such thing as male, female, and then transgender. That's basically slipping in the lies into the vocabulary. Okay, there's no such thing as a transgender. Men cannot turn into women, and women cannot turn into men. That needs to be repeated over and over again until the culture gets it right, and until conservative people even stop referring to this person as a transgender. I don't have a problem with someone saying, "Well, this person identified themselves as this." Okay, like Prince, the artist formerly known. Okay, set it up that way, but don't continue lying to the culture, of which very impressionable minds or might be listening. Okay, so we have to speak truth. But the person that wrote back to them told them, "You have so much more to live," and then they say, I pray God keeps and cover you, right? Cover you. Obviously, this person is caring enough to literally call them by their name, knowing that these people don't want to be known as something. They want to change their identity, and this new identity is what they want to hold on to and latch onto, and they want the affirmation in society. That's why there is so much suicide among these folks, because of the struggle that they want to live in this lie. They want to believe it themselves, and the culture isn't helping them one iota by basically continuing on the lie and the charade. It needs to be said what this is, okay? So it's a sad situation all around. There's a lot of political conversations we could have going on here, but my conversation is the bottom line. What I think is the absolute tip of the bottom line, the tippy tip of the very last bottom line issue, and that is that secularism lies. It says that there is no God. If there is no God, then anything goes. That's the way it is. As I've said before, it's Christ or chaos. And so you basically see it here every time these things happen, the things that happen, and trace it back. It's not going to be a God worldview where we believe ultimately in God. The person said, this is my last goodbye. See you again in another life. Okay? So does this person believe that they're going to die and then reappear in another existence? Where does that come from? Internally, what you think is what you are, what you start to believe. If this person thinks that they're going to just turn into another existence and they don't recognize and they do really have no fear of God, they're not going to have fear of consequences. And so, like the Bible says, God releases them to their own devices, to their own lusts. And so what the potential of human depravity will do is Exhibit A. And we're seeing it every day in the news, and she's no different. She's no different. You have people that kill, or there may be a man or a woman, and they may not have identity issues, but they sure as heck do anger problems and other lust problems that they've decided, well, they're not going to listen to the narrative of God. They're going to say, oh, no, the church is abusive, therefore I'm not going to entertain the thought of my guilt before God and my standing before God and the truth and of the scriptures and of the truth. They're not going to ponder that. They're going to continue running from that, and they're going to make their own realities. And this is often the consequence, the logical endpoint of that rejection of God. Okay? So I pray for the families. I pray for all these people that are suffering because of this. Until next time, God bless.
All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and go to TrueNews365.com for more videos, blogs, podcasts, and commentary from a biblical worldview perspective. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you care. God bless.